We've talked about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals stars and their future plenty this offseason. Duke Tobin, Zach Taylor and company, they talked about him this week here in Indianapolis at the NFL Combine. Let's break it all down, what the Bengals plan to do with their stars right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com here in Indianapolis, and I'm in the Indiana Convention Center right now. The media workroom is right like 50 feet away from me. The Combine, as far as all the interviews and prospects, is downstairs, and plenty to discuss, plenty to talk about. Hopefully, you've checked out all of our videos, all of the audio version as well, wherever you get your podcasts, because you heard from Scott Peters, you heard the new Bengals offensive line coach, you heard from offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, defensive coordinator Al Golden, Zach Taylor, Duke Tobin. It has been a busy couple of days here at the Combine, which is why you got to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. But today's video, by the way, brought to you by BetUS. Let's get into the main takeaway. The main takeaway from the week is going to be what the Bengals said about their stars, and that they plan on keeping their stars, and that they want to extend T. Higgins, and that they want to sign Jamar Chase and make him the richest non-quarterback in NFL history, and that they want to get something done with Trey, and that's their goal, and they plan on doing that with all three of those guys, and also adding to their team. Now, they did say the right things on Tuesday, and that's where we will start. They said the right things on Tuesday, whether it was Duke Tobin, whether it was Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor called it champagne problems, and I agree. I totally agree. You know how many teams would love to have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson and have to pay those guys? Have to pay those guys? And I say that in quotes because the have to is a great place to be in. That's the place. That's why you're here at the Combine, right? For most of these teams, you want to find the next T. Higgins or the next Jamar Chase or the next insert whatever player, Trey Hendrickson. And the Bengals are hoping to find that, by the way, with Trey especially. But the point is, the Bengals do have the cap. They do have the cash. They do have the resources to get all three of these deals done. And I think this was an important distinction that Duke Tobin made on Tuesday. Add to their team. You can't just get those guys and that's it. And I've made that part clear, is you can't just go, all right, well, we're going to keep T, we're going to keep Jamar, we're going to keep Trey, and we're going to run it back. There's too many flaws with this roster. They know it, we know it, I think a lot of people know it. And that's why when Duke said that, it's like, all right, well, that checks off another box. But the main box that they have to check off, by the way, the Bengals have met with multiple defensive tackles, and we're going to have a whole nother video in podcast about just Combine takeaways later in the week. But on this Wednesday, after I've heard literally from multiple Bengals position coaches today, both coordinators today, yesterday was Duke and Zach, the main takeaway from the Combine is what the Bengals plan to do: pay their stars, upgrade their team. They said the right things. Now it's a matter of doing the right things. I'll explain why coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. Get in on all of the fun, whether it's Combine props, whether it's NFL futures, whether it's the NBA, whether it's Major League Baseball. Get in on all of the fun right now with BetUS. They have everything you could want, need, and right now, use code YouTube150. You'll get a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. That's free money to use. Free money to use on the NBA. Luka Doncic and the Lakers are rolling. Free money to use on Bengals futures if you want to go that route. Reds and Major League Baseball set to kick off. Maybe you're a big Reds fan with Cincinnati Bengals dog. Maybe you believe in the Reds and you believe in Elly De La Cruz. That's the beauty of BetUS. They're going to have all the props, all the odds, everything that you're looking for in one spot. Again, use code YouTube150 at BetUS.com. So the Bengals said what they needed to say on Tuesday, and I think it was very direct. I think Duke Tobin was aware of the narrative. Oh, there's no way they're going to pay these guys. The Bengals don't want to win. He came out and said, oh, well, we were so disappointed with how the season went, and issued a statement before being asked questions in the podium. What I do think is interesting here is the fact that it's much easier, put it this way, it's much easier to say the right things and have a direct message and have a unified front. It's a whole other thing to get these deals done. And I would assume ownership is in lockstep. That's why Duke Tobin's talking the way he is, and they're all aligned, and he said that. But you still have to get it done. And that's where I'm at. I think that's where a lot of you are at. And I wrote this for BengalsTalk.com on Tuesday. Marvin Lewis said this all the time. He said, I see better than I hear. And that's where I think a lot of Bengals fans are right now. Yeah, you're seeing one thing. And the one thing is none of these contracts are done. And then you're hearing another. You want to get them done. The Bengals want to get them done. Everyone wants to. Joe Burrow says that these guys want to be here. These guys do want to be. All right, well, let's get them done. And I think that's it. Is until you see the contract done for T. Higgins, for Jamar Chase, for Trey Hendrickson, you're going to be like, all right, well, can we speed this thing up a little bit? Can we get this done? And so I really understand where a lot of fans are coming from in that point of view. And so that's what we're looking at now. It's, all right, you see it. And when you see it, then you can give the thumbs up. Until then, all the talk, it's not going to stop the narrative. Heck, T. Higgins tweets out a cap emoji on Tuesday night, probably responding to something that was said about him from Duke Tobin. And I think the interesting thing that Duke said was that they've tried multiple times to sign T, like multiple times, and I think that might be what T. Higgins was responding to if I had to guess. Now, the good news is I do think that there's a realistic path for this to get done, but it's got to get done. I do expect them to get something done with T. I do expect them to get something done with Jamar, and probably even Trey. I do. But I think Jamar's a 100%. It's a matter of if, not when. Or a matter of when, not if, excuse me. I think T is pretty close to that. I wouldn't go as far as to say when, not if, but pretty close, because I think everyone's on lockstep. You want to keep T and make him a really highly paid wide receiver. The Trey one's interesting. I don't think he has a huge amount of leverage. I think that if you're Trey, you're playing the good guy role right now. And if you're the Bengals, you're like, all right, good guy. I get it. I understand it. Let's get this done. And if they're offering him, I was talking to someone yesterday, if they're offering him $28 million per year, that should get it done. It shouldn't need to be 32 or 33 or anything like that. 28 should be good. It really should. And some are going to say, oh, he'd get more than that on the open market. The open market is different. Jamar Chase will get 50 plus million on the open market. He's not on the open market. So that's not the exact same thing at all. So that's what they need to do. If I had to guess, I would say Jamar would be somewhere between 38, 40 million per year. That T would be in that 26 to $28 million range. And then that Trey would be a tad under that $30 million range, 28 to 27 to 29, I would say. Put it in that route. And I think the Bengals are in that's where they're at. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That would be where I would guess. And do these guys take it? Are they willing to sign for those numbers? Obviously, there's a lot of structure and guarantees and all of those things you got to get into. We'll see. But just because they get those three, let's say they sign all three right now. Great. Still got to add to the team in free agency. Still got to do what you need to do to bolster this team in free agency. And so they have a lot to do, a lot of work to do. We're going to have you covered, whether it's on Apple, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Amazon, obviously, on YouTube. Today's video brought to you by BetUS. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out all of our videos with the coaches here in Indianapolis or on audio. We're putting multiple coaches that we aren't using the video on our audio platforms. And so check that out right now. You can, again, Apple, Spotify, or Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.
How are you feeling about the Bengals cornerback room right now?
It's the same. It's the same roster, except people are recovering from it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same. If I'm the Bengals, I'm doing everything I can, free agency and draft. What are you going to do? What are you going to do at cornerback? They cannot do what they have because they tried it and it didn't work.